What is up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the politics and BS. So I want to just get a little bit into this hush money case because it's a lot that goes into this. And I know that it's popular when it comes to politics for one side to be against the other side. Oh, they're just doing this because they don't want him to win to be the president and whatever. But when it comes to the hypocrisy, when it comes to politics, when one side is guilty of doing something, the other side is, oh, we need to hold them accountable and whatever. But if it's their side that is guilty of doing something, then they want to just write it off as nothing to see here. Let's just keep moving along. It's no big deal. You know, people mess up. It was just a personal situation, you know, between his wife, and he may have messed up. Or maybe they want to say, no, he actually didn't have commit adultery on his wife. He actually didn't have relations with Stormy Daniels, or, you know, like Bill Clinton said.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never.
And we know what happened after that. He finally admitted it and he was impeached. But I digress. You know, it's the hypocrisy for me because they impeached. And again, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I don't even consider myself an independent. But what I do see is the hypocrisy of it all when it comes to politics, because they impeached Bill Clinton for lying about what he did with this woman. And I'm not saying that that was okay, but in the grand scheme of things, when you compare that to all of the stuff that 45 has done, and you got all of these people that are, it's just so in support of him, like he is deserving of being the president again, when he's done so many things that just really are not, they're not okay. They're not ethical, let alone legal. But with all of that being said, the trial that he's going through right now in New York, called the hush money trial, what happened with that situation is the fact that when he ran for president the first time, he knew that he had these lewd situations that were out there, and he wanted to make sure that these people kept their mouths shut because he felt like it would possibly affect him in the election. Now, we know that along with the audio of him saying you can do whatever you want to with them, you can grab them by the PUSSY, and the Access Hollywood tape, as it is so famously called, and he still got in that position. But what he did, his former attorney went to prison for falsifying documents, lying, all of the different things, interfering with the election, like he's trying to call this trial right now election interference. It's so much projection when it comes to him. I feel like a lot of the things that he says, that he projects on other people, is really talking about himself. But I digress. How is it logical that his attorney, that was just doing the work that he was hired to do for him, serves time in prison for that, but he gets to go scot-free? It's crazy to me. But it all stemmed from the hush money payments that were paid to Stormy Daniels, and who was and is an ex-porn star that he allegedly had sex with, and then his former girlfriend that he was cheating on his wife Melania with, Karen McDougal, an ex-Playboy playmate. So I want to play this clip really quick because I feel like it brings some perspective to this hush money trial in a pretty short and brief manner. There's a lot that goes into it, but I just wanted to play this for you guys.
It was a moment for the history books last April.
So at this moment at 1:24 p.m. Eastern Time, Donald J. Trump is under arrest.
Donald Trump becoming the first former president to face criminal charges. It's just the first of his 4 criminal cases starting today in New York City. The former president faces 34 felony charges of falsifying business records in the first degree, stemming from a hush money payment made to adult film star Stormy Daniels. In an interview for 60 Minutes, Daniels told me she had a sexual encounter with Trump in 2006, which he has denied.
And you had sex with him?
Yes.
Nearly a decade later, Trump became the GOP presidential nominee, and Daniels brought her story to the National Enquirer. At the time, Trump ally David Pecker was running American Media Inc., or AMI, which published the Enquirer.
And then I get the call, I think I have the best deal for you.
A deal from Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen, $130,000 in exchange for her silence.
I'll be honest, I don't think $130,000 was enough money. I felt like that was a lowball number for her, because the mere fact that she endured having sex with this creature, that just really turns my stomach every which way but loose. It's disgusting.
The money, prosecutors say, paid through a shell company Cohen set up in October 2016.
Was it hush money to stay silent?
Yes.
Trump initially claimed he didn't know anything about the payment.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels?
No.
Do you think that's the truth? Why would his attorney pay this woman to keep her mouth closed when he never touched her? He never fondled her. He never tapped her butt. He never had her do anything with him physically at all. He was doing the job of his boss, paying her this money, but trying to cover up the tracks, setting up a shell company, and getting the funds through a home equity loan that he secured because he didn't have $130,000 himself, and then to have T-Rump pay him back the money to pay the home equity loan. It's just crazy. Why would Michael Cohen go out of his way to do that just because he just loved the guy that much? Now, granted, I will say that he was a very vocal supporter of him at the time, but it was his job and it was the money that kept him loyal. It wasn't, and he may have went overboard as well in terms of his loyalty for this dude. But it's just crazy to me, in my personal opinion, just based on the evidence of things that we've seen and people who have been connected and attached to the former president. Do you know how many people have been indicted as well as convicted and put in prison because of their connections to him? Like, it doesn't really bode well for those people that are that closely tied and connected to him. So the loyalty, it to me just doesn't seem like it's worth it. And I feel that Michael Cohen finally learned that after he got locked up. And now that he got out, and he's having the opportunity to speak his mind about things that he endured, he's not holding back. And it's his right to do that.
Cohen said he was not directed by Donald Trump or the campaign to make the payments to Daniels, and that he was not reimbursed. But later, under oath, he said Trump did reimburse him, something the former president acknowledged in a 2018 financial disclosure, but doesn't say what the reimbursement was for.
Yes, I pled guilty.
Cohen later pleaded guilty to multiple federal counts, including campaign finance violations for the purpose of influencing the 2016 election. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison.
Do you swear or...
In 2019, Cohen testified before Congress.
I am ashamed that I chose to take part in concealing Mr. Trump's illicit acts rather than listening to my own conscience.
While the charges against Trump all relate to the payment to Daniels, court documents have laid out other alleged deals to purchase potentially damaging stories and prevent them from being published, likely to prove a pattern of behavior. The practice was known as catch and kill. One payment was to former Playboy model Karen McDougal, who says she had a 10-month affair with Trump in 2006, which he has also denied.
Were you in love with him?
I was, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And do you think he was in love with you?
He was, yeah.
McDougal says AMI offered her $150,000 shortly before the 2016 election to prevent her story from becoming public.
So if he just screwed you, you get $130,000. But if you two were in love for a short period of time, you got an extra $20,000. Got it.
You're convinced now this was an effort to do a favor for Donald Trump in the last few months of the presidential race?
Unfortunately, yes.
Good afternoon.
Since the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg announced the indictment last year, Trump has pleaded not guilty and denied all wrongdoing. He's also lashed out on Truth Social, accusing Bragg of a witch hunt and saying Judge Juan Merchan suffers from Trump derangement syndrome. Among the witnesses who could be called to testify against the former president, members of his inner circle, including Hope Hicks, Michael Cohen, Kellyanne Conway, and others. If convicted, Trump could face up to 4 years in prison for each charge.
Let's be clear, he's not going to spend any time in prison for this at all. He's not. But the thing about this situation is that the whole point of all of this happening was to not have the voters know about what was going on, but also his wife. And while a lot of people feel like, oh, she doesn't care, she's just there for the money anyway. And while I can say I agree with her being there for the money, I agree with that. I do believe that this situation hurt her. I do believe it. And she's come across in the public as being cold and callous and uncaring. But I do believe that she's just disgusted, but I don't even know why she would be surprised. I'm not saying that she was surprised, but what I'm saying is I don't know how she could be surprised if she was, because it's like she was pretty much someone that got with him based on the strength of just her looks, her being an immigrant, having an opportunity to not only marry someone to obtain citizenship, but marry someone who had the monetary means that was going to just up level her lifestyle. And now here we are with him going through this trial, and she hasn't shown up not one day to the courthouse. And I don't see that happening here anytime in this next week. I don't know how long this trial is going to be. I believe it's been going on for, about 2 weeks now. It's just absolutely crazy, but the whole situation is just disgusting. And I know a lot of the people who call themselves being on the right or Republicans or definitely MAGA, they just see this as what he's been calling it, a witch hunt and whatever. But it's laughable, because when it's on the other side that they don't like, and if this was Obama, Biden, who have been some other Democratic presidents. I can't even recall at this point. Clinton, of course, we already know what happened to him. He was impeached. He wasn't removed from office, but it was big. That's what I'm saying. If you look at the hypocrisy, what Clinton was impeached for versus all the things that Trump has been alleged, and not only alleged, but indicted for doing, they wouldn't let that other side get away with a sliver of all of this stuff. But for their guy, because they're on the same side, oh, there's nothing to see here. This is ridiculous. It's election interference. It's a witch hunt. It's Trump derangement syndrome. It's everything but doing what legally they should be doing. And that's why none of these clowns, not any of them, deserve to continue to come back to office. The political system is really a joke. All of these senators and congressmen, the idiots that keep voting them back into office and they pretty much stay in there, is just like a lot of these people that get on these reality shows. They have nothing else to offer, so they keep coming back because it's a check, and they get to the point where they are relying on it. It's disgusting. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to share a little bit of that with you, and I would love to know what you think about it. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks so much for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.